This is your radio, Cayman.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the Record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. So fair. Today is Monday, the 6th day of February 2023, right here in the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Cayman Islands. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, again, we urge you to please, please, please be extremely cautious. Whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle, please ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember, by so doing, the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, or if you celebrated one over the past few days, a belated happy birthday to you as well. And this segment of the For the Record birthday shout-outs are proudly brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center, whose advice to you is don't take chances with your family's future. And there are many notable birthdays today, including the Honorable Robert Nestor Marley. Robert Nestor Marley, Bob Marley, celebrating his birthday today. Our own Minister of Finance, Deputy Premier, Honorable Chris Saunders, celebrating his birthday today, and several more as well. And we will come back to the birthday shout-outs in a while. For those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you as well. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery as well. So folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, the phone lines are open. Beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and at 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note. the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube. You do that simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream, and we are on Facebook as well. So, yesterday, former Member of Parliament, former Minister, Mr. Ralston Anglin, celebrated his birthday as well. And like I said, today, Honorable Chris Saunders celebrates his birthday. Other birthday celebrants today, Miss Sarah Sue McPhail, she's celebrating a birthday. Drake Watson, celebrating a birthday today, and he is the nephew of renowned broadcaster, comedian, social media personality, Jane of all trades, right here on Radio Cayman as well, Miss Susan Watson. So Mr. Drake Watson celebrating his birthday today as well, and Miss Donna Bush, TV, radio, media personality, Miss Donna Bush as well. So we want to wish all of them happy birthday today. So Miss Sarah Sue McPhail, Mr. Drake Watson, Honorable Chris Saunders, and Miss Donna Bush. Also, some notable names of persons who will be celebrating birthdays later on this year. Miss Kim Bullings, she will be celebrating hers on the 15th, Wednesday, the 15th of February. Miss Kim Bullings is the clerk of cabinet. Mr. Lenford Wilkes will be celebrating his birthday on February the 17th. He's with GIS, Government Information Services. His expertise is in videography, but I believe he also dabbles in the stock market as well, or at least used to. I'm not sure if he's still. Mr. Lloyd Mills celebrating his birthday on the 20th of February. For those of you who are cyclists, you would know Lloyd Mills, or if you in past years shopped at Uncle Bill's, Lloyd was the bicycle mechanic at Uncle Bill's, now residing in Texas in the U.S. Also served, maybe still a serving member of the Marines as well. I believe he was a helicopter mechanic, or is a helicopter mechanic, keen cyclist, always posting on Facebook as well. And Mr. Gregory Rivers will be celebrating his birthday on February the 21st. The Honorable Linford Pearson celebrating his birthday on the 24th of February as well. So we will have. And I want to say thank you, coming from one talk show host, we won't call a name, who celebrated a birthday yesterday and even had an audience on the road and in the Old Man Bay area. Miss Jewel was out there on the roadside giving that particular individual a big birthday shout out yesterday morning as well. So Miss Jewel, hello to you as well. So lots of birthdays in February, and as you know, well, I think it's split between Aquarians and something else. I'm not into horoscopes and those things, but Aquarians are some of the nicest people that you can find. Always caring for others as well. Low key. It's not about themselves. It's always about others. And so all you Aquarians out there, you are good people. So again, belated happy birthday to Mr. Ralston Anglin as well. And like we said, today the Honorable Chris Saunders celebrating his birthday, Miss Sarah Sue McPhail, Mr. Drake Watson, the nephew of Radio Cayman personality, Miss Susan Watson, Miss Donna Bush, radio, television, media personality. Want to wish her a happy birthday as well. And folks, to remind you that the birthday shout-outs on For the Record are proudly brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center, whose advice to you is don't take chances with your family's future. We're going to take an early commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
During the 1960s, a Mr. Ulrich McNamee came to Grand Cayman from Jamaica to work as a schoolteacher. After recognizing the need for an agriculture society, he set about starting one. Mr. McNamee, along with 10 Caymanians, attended the agricultural show in Jamaica. The group was treated well by the Jamaicans and were able to learn much, including seeing the stores where excess produce were stored and the benefits of their agriculture show. After returning home from the Jamaican agriculture show, Mr. McNamee, along with 15 Caymanians, started to meet on a monthly basis at the courthouse near Hogstye Bay. The meetings were held to discuss the growth of local produce and create the rules and regulations upon which the Cayman Islands Agricultural Society would be born.
Information from this historical vignette was sourced courtesy of Mr. Charles Lindbergh Eden, The History of Agriculture, 50th Annual Agriculture Show magazine.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
It's all about humanity.
It will be Saturday, March 4th, the 11th Annual Rotary Central Health Check, the almost island-wide Rotary Health Screening. See us at Foster's Republic's West Bay, Cost You Less at Governor Square, West Bay Road, A.L. Thompson's Georgetown, Foster's at Countryside in Savannah, Bordentown, from 10 a.m. through 2 p.m. Take advantage of a free mini-medical, a physician's check on your blood pressure, your A1C, your cholesterol, your blood sugar, your healthy weight evaluation, and more. The 11th Annual Rotary Central Health Check in conjunction with the Health Services Authority. Saturday, March 4. Save this date that could save your life. Rotary, all the good you imagine.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay.
No one can stop me when I taste the real.
Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it.
So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
They say you only live once. I say you only die once, but you live every day. I'm Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center, longtime supporter of Radio Cayman. Live your life, my friends. Happiness is in the journey, not the destination. When you're ready, I'm here to support you with the best financial decisions for your family's future. Cayman Insurance Center, protecting you and your family so you can take back your future. I'm Michael Webster, the sure way to protect your family. Call me when you're ready at 925-5433. Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets.
Think life insurance.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. We were doing the birthday shout-outs, and I want to thank one of our listeners for reminding me that in the case of Mr. Gregory Rivers, were he alive on February the 21st, he would have celebrated his birthday. Of course, these we took from this. I took from Facebook, and as a result, that was the error there. So in the case of Mr. Gregory Rivers, were he alive on February the 21st, he would be celebrating his birthday. And condolences and sincere blessings go out to his family on the 21st when it comes around as well. Okay, there's something I want to share with you. I'm going to just double check to make sure that we don't have any other WhatsApp messages that we need to share. I think also birthday today, it would have been his 84th birthday to the legendary, iconic, respected, beloved, admired, acclaimed, influential singer, songwriter, record producer, concert promoter, businessman, record store operator, record label executive, founding member of the group, the Jiving Juniors, Derek Clinton Harriet, who celebrates his birthday today. He's alive, celebrating his birthday today as well, born on February the 6th, 1939. And we also have, I think it's Bunny Ruggs, whose birthday February the 6th, and he passed away on February the 2nd, 2014, at the age of 65. So the late Bunny Ruggs also celebrating a birthday. Okay, before we go to our 8 o'clock news, I want to share something with you. Again, trying to promote good driving here, good, safe driving here in the Cayman Islands. And you constantly hear me talk about a road safety campaign. I also spoke about, in the past, about driver education in our schools. We always talk about our young people being our future and the need to protect them. But how we the way that we determine our future also is dependent on the guidance that we give to them, the foundation that we lay for them as well. So there's an editorial in Saturday's Jamaica Gleaner newspaper, and it is entitled Make Driver Education a Priority. I have been talking about the same thing here in the Cayman Islands. We have a number of private schools, high schools. We have government high schools as well. I am not sure if any of them have any driver education programs in their schools. And driver education can also include using, what are they called again? These simulators, using simulators to teach driving as well. Here in the Cayman Islands, there's lots of money floating around the place. I mean, some of you may say, yeah, it's floating, but I'm unable to retrieve it based on my situation. But there's lots of money out there. We see lots of charitable organizations as well being involved. So here is what the editorial speaks about for Jamaica, and this could easily be applicable to the Cayman Islands as well. So it says, driver education in schools seems like an excellent way to tackle the ongoing carnage on the nation's roads, that is in Jamaica. If there is national concern about public safety, as there ought to be, then safe and smart driving is desperately needed in Jamaica at this time. I could take the word Jamaica out of that, replace it with the Cayman Islands, and then, like I said, most of this would be applicable to us here in the Cayman Islands as well. It says that the statistics reveal that young adults make up the majority of road casualties. The number of road fatalities in the general population is alarming. In Jamaica, they had 488 lives lost in 2022 and another 487 in 2021. Editorial says that we therefore find it laudable. Sorry, let's start that all over again. We therefore find it laudable that York Castle High School in St. Anne has pioneered driver education in schools, and we celebrate the success of 36 students who recently obtained their provisional driver's license. The school developed the curriculum with the assistance of the Heart/NSTA Trust and had the blessings of the Island Traffic Authority and the Ministry of Education. Driver education courses might vary, but we expect that a comprehensive training module would include basic skills, safe driving techniques, road code and etiquette, and basic maintenance instructions. York Castle has had an active driver education program since 2013, beginning with forms 1 to 3, and it was later expanded to the upper classes. Initial funding came from the Ministry of Education through the Career Advancement Program. When the funds dried up, listen to this part, folks, when the funds dried up, the school administration pivoted and formed a drivers club, which is accessible to interested students. Determined to make this initiative, which has the essential goal of producing safe, conscientious drivers, work, the teachers volunteered their cars for the program. And not only did they volunteer their cars, but they paid instructors were brought in to conduct the training as well. Driver education, the editorial says, is important because it helps to set a solid foundation that is expected to last a lifetime. Students are, of course, the first beneficiaries because they will leave school equipped with a valuable skill, and they will be able to use this certification to their advantage. But beyond personal gain, there is a countrywide gain, for if there are fewer accidents, then the pressure on the public health system would be lessened considerably. Drivers demonstrate their ignorance about the road code and regulations daily in Jamaica, and like I said, we can say the same thing about the Cayman Islands. We drive on the left except when overtaken, yet it is not unusual to see motorists overtaken on the left or creating a lane where none ought to be. Some motorists appear mystified when they get to a roundabout as they fail to recognize who has the right-of-way. Does that sound familiar, folks? Then there are those who fail to yield to emergency vehicles, even with their blaring sirens and flashing lights. These motorists might be reckless, but it could also be that they are ignorant because they are not familiar with the rules of the road. Since 2021, the Island Traffic Authority has been seeking to collaborate with the Ministry of Education to introduce a driver education program in high schools, and some schools were earmarked for driver simulators. This program, we feel, should be accelerated. Road safety advocates have also been calling for driver education programs which can deliver measurable results to be introduced in high schools. We also recognize that there is a strong national incentive for driver education programs to be integrated into the school curriculum of high schools, exposing students to classroom instructions and practical driving lessons. Every Jamaican, and I'm going to say in this case, every Caymanian, has a stake in seeing fewer casualties on our roads. For that reason, we must do everything to ensure that young people develop safe driving habits before they take to the streets. Those of you who are with the Ministry of Education, or if you administrators in a private school, something for you to consider, something for you to think about. If our young people are the future of the Cayman Islands, then let's protect that future. And one way to do that is to introduce proper driver's education in our school. Top of the hour, folks. 8 o'clock news. For the record, will be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now is 8 o'clock, brought to you with the kind compliments of Price Right.
Priced Right? Spending less on everyday products is easy.
Spend less on office supplies, tools, and automotive products.
Spend less on groceries, fresh produce, and meat.
Spend less on electronics, TVs, and speakers.
Spend less on home furnishings, beauty products, and apparel.
At Priced Right, we believe you can live better for less.
To start saving, visit us at the Airport Center in Georgetown or at Republic's Plaza in West Bay.
For more info, visit pricedright.ky. Live better for less at Priced Right.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller.
Mr. Lethan Lindbergh Martin.
20 honorees from Cayman Brac and Little Cayman were recognized on Saturday for exemplary contributions to the Cayman Islands through volunteerism and charitable services. In his keynote address, Premier the Honorable Wayne Panton spoke to how valuable volunteerism and charitable service has been during recent years.
These past few years have certainly been challenging for all of us. Across the Caribbean region and the rest of the world, we've been disconnected, isolated, and faced many hardships due to the pandemic and other forces outside of our control. However, in spite of this difficulty, the individuals that we are honoring here today, and many others, have continued to give and make a positive impact on our communities. We rely heavily on the kindness of our service groups and the generosity of our volunteers to keep us afloat during those most challenging times.
Culture and Heritage Minister the Honorable Bernie Bush acknowledged how the spirit of volunteerism connects all three Cayman Islands.
Our small island populations have been tight-knit, self-reliant, and supporting of each other through good times and bad times. Today's recipients have given out of respect for their fellow islanders and the land they so dearly love and call home.
The Sister Island ceremony was the second and final segment of the annual National Heroes Day honors for 2023. After a spike in car break-ins, police are urging folks to take measures to protect their things. The RCIPS says it appears those responsible are checking car doors, and when they find an unlocked one, they search it and steal valuable items that may be inside. Investigators have some tips for the public. Don't leave any valuables, including tools, cash, electronics, no matter how small the amount in your vehicles. Make sure your doors are locked whenever it's unoccupied. Be aware of your surroundings when you're parking your vehicles, and make sure to choose areas that are well lit and have security cameras or security officers on site. And if you're shopping and need to leave bags or other items in your vehicle, store them where they can't be seen, like the trunk of your car. If you are targeted, you're encouraged to call police immediately. They add that the information you provide may be valuable to, quote, the overall investigation of these crimes, and will assist with analytical data to solve both existing break-ins and put preventative measures in place. And following a successful annual general meeting, the Cayman Islands Marketing Professionals Association has announced a new board to oversee the organization's operations for the next 2 years. These include Holly Whitelock as chair and Ann Kensington Lott as vice chair. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller.
BBC News with Emily Thomas. A second powerful earthquake has struck southern Turkey and northwestern Syria just hours after a pre-dawn quake levelled thousands of buildings. At least 1,500 people are confirmed dead, but the figure is rising as rescue workers search the rubble. President Erdogan says dozens of countries have offered help following the disaster. The European Union said it's mobilised more than 10 search and rescue teams. The Israeli army says it's killed several Palestinian militants during a raid on a refugee camp in Jericho in the occupied West Bank. Palestinian officials said 5 people were believed to have been shot dead. Beijing has admitted that a balloon spotted flying over Latin America is from China. Officials said the aircraft was for civilian use and had drifted off course. A similar balloon was shot down by the United States on Saturday on suspicion of spying. Norway's Prime Minister has proposed a $7.3 billion aid package to Ukraine over 5 years. Jonas Gahr Støre said half the money would go to military resources and half to humanitarian and civilian help. Human Rights Watch has warned of a dangerous escalation of tension between ethnic Tutsi and Hutu communities in eastern Congo. They say it's the result of fighting involving a militia that Rwanda is accused of backing. People in southern Ethiopia are casting their ballots in a referendum on whether to establish a new regional state. Around 3 million registered voters can take part in what is a further sign of the country's system of ethnic federalism coming under strain. Israel's ambassador to Zambia has had her phone and diplomatic passport stolen in front of her bodyguards. Ofra Fahi was crossing the street in Lusaka when a car pulled up alongside her and the occupants grabbed her bag, causing her to fall to the ground. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com. When we can't find the words to express ourselves, the right greeting card does just that for us. This Valentine's Day, greet people with love through our wide selection of Hallmark cards and more at ValueMed Pharmacy. More than a pharmacy, ValueMed has thoughtful gift ideas to help celebrate the love you share with family, friends, and heartstrings. From designer perfumes and colognes, bath spa sets and grooming kits, to chocolates and specially curated Valentine's gift baskets, ValueMed Pharmacy has gift ideas and greeting cards to help connect and share with your loved ones, with free gift wrapping offered for any in-store purchases. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and Boddentown.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
It's time to update your information. If you've recently changed your mailing address, phone number, or email address, please let your Water Authority customer service team know. Remember, non-receipt of a bill does not constitute a release from liability for payment. Visit our website, www.waterauthority.ky, to download and fill out our customer information update form. Or you can contact our customer service team at info@waterauthority.ky or call 949-2837.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Hey, Bill, glad to see you back in the office. Who? Bill.
Oh, sorry. I think you're mistaking me for someone else.
Tom.
Nope.
Jack.
No.
Alex.
No. Want me to just tell you?
Nope, I got this, George.
No, you don't. Still not me.
Adam.
Not even close, man.
We're like a coworker that didn't forget your name. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Okay, good to see you, Mike Johnson.
It's Mordecai.
That's a good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 72 degrees. Relative humidity is 95%. The barometric pressure, 30.05 inches and rising. The winds are calm. Overnight low temperature was 70 degrees. Synopsis indicate light winds and slight seas will continue across the Cayman area through tonight due to a weak pressure gradient over the northwest Caribbean. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area, which are moving towards the northwest. Now, the forecast for today calling for mainly fair skies with a 30% chance of afternoon showers, and temperatures will rise to the mid-80s. Winds will be northeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Tonight, pretty much the same, partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers and temperatures falling to the mid-70s tonight. Winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 10:20, low tide this afternoon at 4:25, and a high tide again tonight at 7 minutes past 10. The sun will set this evening at 6:20 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:58. And the outlook is calling for moderate to fresh winds and seas from Tuesday morning as a high-pressure system builds over the southeastern United States. That's the very latest on your weather report.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Change your thinking. Change your life. Mastering the art of communication can open doors for you.
As Susie Kassem wrote in her book, Rise Up and Salute the Sun, we cannot control the way people interpret our ideas or thoughts, but we can control the words and tones we choose to convey them. Peace is built on understanding, and wars are built on misunderstandings. Never underestimate the power of a single word, and never recklessly throw around words. One wrong word or misinterpreted word can change the meaning of an entire sentence and start a war. And one right word or one kind word can grant you the heavens and open doors.
Change your thinking. Change your life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning. I feel it for you if you're coming from the east, as traffic is heavy on Shamrock Road and coming off of Rex Crichton Boulevard. Busy traffic on the Linford Pearson Highway. Traffic also busy heading to Georgetown on Cool Road. Eastbound traffic on Cool Road moving on pretty good. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue traffic flowing at a good pace. Light to moderate traffic flow on Owen Roberts Drive. Traffic also busy coming off of the Esterly Tibbetts Highway heading towards the Butterfield Roundabout. Steady traffic on Northstown Road in both directions. Traffic is flowing moderately in the Industrial Park area. And into Georgetown on Shedden Road looking pretty good. Out of Georgetown on Shedden Road, traffic is light to moderate. That's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report.
When you're craving something big, something tasty that gives you that lip-smacking satisfaction, something that hits the spot, there is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
It's pretty tasty.
Filling and full of flavor. Try our new sweet onion steak teriyaki with a twist. Or the classic chicken teriyaki. Top it with green pepper, onions, cheese, and that sweet onion teriyaki sauce, all piled on your favorite artisanal bread. Satisfy that craving with a footlong from Subway.
Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty.
Let's make it a meal with a drink, chips, and cookies. There is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. At Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guest in the studio, so we're going to have an open line for you all morning. Whatever you want to share with us, as long as it is fit to be spoken on air, we will entertain your views. We do have a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record. Sounds as if they're not paying attention to us, Miss Susan. Let's try again. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record. Okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
Hello?
Good morning. How are you?
Hello?
Good morning. We're hearing you. How are you?
Hello?
Yes. Okay. We don't want to have a dead spot on the radio. We always have to be saying something. Let's try the caller again. Okay. Hopefully we can connect with that caller. Meanwhile, talking about driver education in the Cayman Islands, I found 2 articles in the Compass. One was in 2007, and it spoke about withdrawing driver ed from school. And in the Caymanian Compass on the 21st of June 2011, there was an article, Driver's Ed Steers into High Gear. And I'll share that with you. So it says that recently road safety talks took place across Grand Cayman. At the head of the seminars were Public Works Training Development and Safety Officer and Street Skill Member Levi Allen, National Roads Authority Street Skills Representative Marian Pandui, and Royal Cayman Islands Police Service Chief Inspector Angelique Howell. Mr. Allen, who spoke about defensive driving techniques, told students that driving is an ever-changing exercise. He's quoted as saying, getting your driver's license doesn't mean that you can drive well. Young drivers are particularly susceptible to traffic accidents as they generally lack the experience to respond to different situations. Knowing the road code is one thing, but applying the rules as a changing road environment requires skills, knowledge, extensive practice, and an understanding of how you as young drivers respond to pressures and distractions. Goes on to say, we want everyone to take individual responsibility for road safety. Our call to action is simple. Don't wait for disasters to happen. Talk to your family, friends, and children about driving for life. Street skill. Okay, let me find that again. Street skill is the public education campaign of the new multi-agency Cayman Islands National Road Safety Strategy. So I'll try to find more about that as well, which aims to reduce road fatalities and injuries. Its members are Public Works, the Roads Authority, the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, Vehicle and Driver's Licensing Department, and the Cayman Islands Road Safety Advisory Council. Now, I've questioned before whether or not that Cayman Islands Road Safety Advisory Council is still in existence, but this article now gives me additional information on here that I can do additional searches to find out, to determine which of these entities are still in existence. But if you know more about it, I would welcome hearing from you to tell us more about road safety, about driver education in the Cayman Islands as well. The article goes on to say that among the areas being covered during the talks are properly using Cayman's roundabouts, driving with peers as passengers, and risk-taking. Inspector Howell says educating young drivers is a necessary step. Our roads have already claimed 4 lives this year, folks, and this is in 2011, so 12 years ago, prompting us to ramp up our public safety education efforts. Ms. Howell is quoted as saying, "The rate of road accidents and deaths in Cayman is simply unacceptable, which is why we need to focus on prevention and education." More presentations are expected to take place shortly, with a public workshop on defensive driving also in the works. Like I said before, folks, we can do more than this. There's enough money floating around in the Cayman Islands supporting many causes here in the Cayman Islands, and based on what we see on social media and elsewhere, it seems as if sometimes some of our government entities, either statutory authorities or government-owned companies, are even sponsoring entities that are not necessarily even based in the Cayman Islands, may not even be Cayman-owned entities. So we need to take some of that money, redirect it towards driver education in the Cayman Islands, especially for those who we know are our future, our young people. Let's get those simulators in the schools. Let's get driver education in the schools. Purchase some vehicles. Clifton Hunter, what an excellent place to have driver education. You're out away from the hustle and the bustle of Georgetown. You start the driver education courses, taking them in the eastern end of the island where you have less traffic. Get them to learn the basics in terms of vehicle handling and everything. And then, of course, they will need to be exposed to driving in traffic, driving in the roundabouts as well. But the foundation can be laid there. What better place than Clifton Hunter, if it's not already there, to start that? Shouldn't be any difficulty in finding vehicles in the Cayman Islands to use for driving. We have more than we need here in the Cayman Islands, and not only including on the roads, but look at all of the lots. Look at all of the empty spaces. I shouldn't say empty. Look at all of the spaces on our roadways where vehicles are being advertised, for sale as well. Or, folks, shouldn't we ring fence some of that money that we receive from vehicle licensing towards driver education? Folks, it needs to start in our schools. You want to make your mark in education? Here's a good way to do it. Someone take the ball and run with it. Like I said before, Clifton Hunter High School, what better place to teach, to start to teach? You have the roads up there that are less congested. Now, I used to teach driver education or give driving lessons, which was driver education in New York when I was going to school. And, of course, New York has its winters and everything, and I would have students call up, and if it snowed a little bit on the roads, but traffic was out there still, call up and say, "Oh, I'd like to cancel my lesson today because it is snow." And I would say to them, you need to get out there because you need to learn to drive in the snow, as well as driving in the rain, as well as driving when the roads are nice and dry. Additionally, you need to teach people not only to drive during the day, but to drive at night. Otherwise, how do they know about those high and low beams and experience that on the roads as well? Folks, we can do better. We can do better. It shouldn't be a shortage of money. It shouldn't be a shortage of vehicles. It shouldn't be a shortage of having the skill set to teach it. And like we said before, there are simulators as well that can be used for that purpose. I believe that we've got things sorted out with our caller. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Pretty good. Mr. Connor, up at John Gray, they were teaching the children's drive up there. They had like 2 cars up there.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that, caller?
Up at John Gray High School.
Uh-huh.
They were doing driving lessons up there with the children.
Okay.
I think they had like 2 vehicles up there at one point in time, and I don't know if it stopped because COVID came in and stopped things, but they were teaching the kids up at John Gray to drive.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah. But that's not what I called you for, and I would greatly appreciate it. So let me say what I want to say.
Okay, go right ahead.
Mr. Connor, this fine for the chickens, how much? What's that number there? Is that the right number that they got up there?
For?
What is there for the chicken that they can't feed the chickens? What is the fine?
I think that we have gotten the narrative wrong on this, and we need to commend the people at Department of Environment to trying to correct it. The fine that we're talking about is that those are that's a parameter in terms of what the fine can be, but it is not limited to just the feeding of chickens. It's relating to the offenses that fall under that portion or that section of the act. So, people are talking about the feeding of chicken, and I think their focus is in the wrong place. Of course, those who want to sensationalize it are doing that. But we really need to get the narrative right back on the right track. And the people at the Department of Environment have pointed out they're not going to come to your house to prosecute you for feeding chickens.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mr. Connor, I just want to say this.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing to do with an individual personally, but we got the chickens on Island from day one, and they have accumulated since Ivan, as you know, right? And we got so many. I was wondering, we have a show and tell with the dolphins and the turtles,
mm-hmm.
and got so many chickens on Island. Why can't, who can do it? I don't know. I don't have the answer for that piece. But this is my suggestion about them.
Okay.
Why can't we put a show and tell of our chickens, divide them from the hens from the roosters, let someone maintain them, put them in a nice environment, that it can be a show and tell, and all of those are looking PR, let them be, they can come out here and walk a dog, let them get involved in the chickens. And no disrespect to them. And why I say that is because the chickens will need to be fed at their wherever they're located. They'll be in a proper holding ground, and they'll have their water and their food and so forth and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And the kennel will need washing out from time to time. Put that on the PR list for people who want to go walk a dog. Let's go and take care of chickens too. It's not being funny, but I'm serious. I'm dead serious. The dolphins are making money at the show and tell. The turtles are making money. We got a starfish up not side. They're not making money there, but it was told not to pick them up, but they are picking them up and taking pictures and so forth with them. You see, we got this thing in Cayman that we try to hold on to one thing that kind of make our lives a living hell, but we don't try to look at all other things that is being done that does not have no eye-opening to it, and nobody is showing any care and concern to what's happening here and there. The visitor doesn't want to see turtles in those tanks. They don't want to see the dolphins in the tanks as well at the turtle farm. They want everything to be running free. But also, you want to hear something? But that's on the news where this guy has about 4 or 6 huskies pulling him and his family down the mile away on ice, on the snow. Now they can take 4 dogs and tie them around their neck and pull them on the ice to have fun. But they want to come and tell us to take our turtles out of the captivity and let them free, as well as the dolphins. Where in the world is it to get off and come and tell us what to do in Cayman to a degree?
Yeah.
You know where I'm coming from?
Yep. I think in Canada, somewhere up in the north, there's something called the Iditarod, where there are actually races across Canada with using these dogs as well. I think it's like a race that lasts something like about a week. It's called the Iditarod. So, you know, you're absolutely right. Those people, they, it's what do as I say, not as I do situation, yeah?
I know it's sad, but you got to go to a news break. I want to hold because I want to see a couple more things if it's possible. I'm not going to figure it.
Okay.
Are you going to a news break now?
Yeah, go ahead, continue to talk. I'll let you finish up.
So I was saying, we could catch these chickens and roosters and divide them and distribute them out into West Bay, because we know West Bay is number one for the tours that we do on island.
Uh-huh.
And then we go to the eastern side. Put nice chicken coops that we call them, and somewhere nice and got a nice shade on top that they're not being burnt 24/7 from the sun. Since they're such a nuisance, when it's come to walking anywhere, when you go to these show and tell places, turtle farm and dolphin, those different places, you're walking upon the chicken nest, and these places are not being washed down on a daily basis. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So to keep the chickens here in Cayman, I heard someone on your radio say that these chickens with broad hair. I mean, I'm 66 years old, and I know chickens in Cayman from I was a child. I remember seeing my mother killing chickens.
Exactly. Yeah, we had it. When I was young, we had a chicken coop right out there, right where McDonald's restaurant is now, and we had a house there, and we had we didn't call it chicken coop those days. We call it a fowl coop. Fowl coop.
Yes, right.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So this morning, I'm just asking whoever's in charge of this fine and come back with all these chickens and dogs and cats and our sea life, our turtles and our dolphins and our lobster and our fish and whatever. They need to sit down and do a little bit more history.
Okay.
Cayman, go back to the elder people, find out how we survived on this island many years ago.
Excellent. Caller, thank you. Thank you very much for that. We are a little bit over our commercial break, but we wanted that caller to be able to finish her train of thought as well. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
So much happening so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my health care instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Grand Cayman's biggest one-day family fun day is back! The 54th Annual Agricultural Show at the Stacey Watler Agricultural Pavilion in Lower Valley. Ash Wednesday, February 22nd. Raffle tickets are on sale now, and for only $25, you can win $20,000 and so many other prizes. Raffle tickets include general admission to the show. For more information, visit them on Facebook or CaymanAgriculture.com.
Pure Art Gallery and Gifts, meaningful tokens of love for Valentine's Day. Pure Art has also expanded their location. Local jewelry, paintings, prints, and more. Visit the newly expanded Pure Art Gallery and Gifts located on South Church Street. Happy Valentine's from Pure Art.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have 3 callers on hold. Just want to say one of our listeners has sent a WhatsApp asking what is defensive driving, and I will later on give you the information not only about what is defensive driving, but also tell you who is a defensive driver, and also share with you what are some of the defensive driving techniques that can be employed as well. So let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC.
Good morning, sir. How art thou?
Good. I just started listening. I just got a little bit. But first, I would like to say happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry you choose to be with the riding buddy instead of being coming for some food.
Yes. Sitting on a bike rather than sitting at a table, huh?
Yeah. And then I would like to say happy birthday to the most beautiful girl in the bride.
Yes, Sarah Sue.
Sarah
Sue, yes.
And then I want to also say happy birthday to the financial minister, the deputy leader. Got to suck up to him a little bit too. He control the finances.
Yep. Yes, okay. And belated birthday greetings to Ralston Angling yesterday also.
I did send him some greetings. Yeah, belated to him too.
Mm-hmm.
See, I understand, and I need you to probably educate me on this one, but I got to throw it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that the government are contemplating on spending $8 million on the national ID. Not sure how true that is, but you do have a driver's license, OC, and you have a voter's card, and you have a passport. Okay. Mostly, the passport are used for traveling, your voter's card are used for voting, and your driver's license is used for driving. And most occasion, they will accept your driver's license as a form of ID,
right,
and not the voter's card because it doesn't have an expiry date.
They claim, yes.
Okay. What would be the purpose of getting a national ID when it cannot be used for travel, it cannot be used to vote, and it cannot be used for driving? And in most cases, it will not be able to be used as a way of identifying yourself to places who ask for a expiry date.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think they're going to put an expiry date on your national ID.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be a waste of $8 million.
I think what we need to look at, though, and if my memory serves me correct, when the explanation that Mr. Ian Tibbetts and what's his name, Mr. Brown, when they talked about it, you want to think of a national identification not as much a physical card as much as one of the properties that will identify you within, starting with the government system and later on probably to use for other things, having a unique identifier. Because yes, you have a driver's license, but that driver's license is restricted to the driver's license system. Passport, basically for the passport system and travel, immigration. All right? Voter registration for the purposes of voting. But if you, as Graham Rankin, has a unique identifier that identifies those three documents that I spoke about before and any other affiliation that you may have or connection that you may have, within the government system, having that unique identifier, that is really more what the national identification system is about. That's what it is intended to achieve at the end of the day, rather than just having a national identification card that says Graham Rankin is a citizen of the Cayman Islands who possesses Caymanian status, who has a passport, who has a driver's license, and so forth.
So now you're talking about unique, meaning me being 7th generation Caymanian will get a unique one, different from people who just jump off the plane. And
you will have an identifier. You will have something that identifies you throughout the government system.
I'm saying what? That I'm unique?
No. When I say unique identifier, what I mean is it is to you. It is applicable to you and to you only. But it's combining all of those facets. So, for instance, you go to the hospital, right? They will have a way of identifying you. You go to vehicle licensing. They use that same number to identify you. You go to the land registry. They may use that same number to identify you, because that's the identifier that they have in the system for you. Universal identifier. So don't think of it just as an identification card.
Well, that I was thinking about it because I know where we have the which is a government issue ID, the voters card, and a lot of establishment refuse to take the card as a way of identifying you.
Yeah, and it's hoped at the end of the day that even out in the private sector, that they will be able at some point in time to utilize that unique identifier, that you will have that unique number.
Oh, because right away they tell you it doesn't have when I let them know, I said this is government issue, they say no, but it doesn't.
Yeah, I think it's that's a part of they know your customer and the financial requirements that they're under, even though we don't necessarily agree, with it, but it seems as if that's what they have to abide by. Okay,
and you need to stop talking about this driving thing, because you got turned blue in the face or seeing nothing.
No, I'm going to keep hammering it home. I'm going to keep hammering, because we cannot just pay lip service to the fact that our young people are our future, and we don't give them the kind of foundation that to make sure that they are our future, because if we have them dying on the roads early, then what future is that? That's no future.
I talk about all the other people too. See, because if you was a instructor and somebody come to you who never driven in Cayman before and came from somewhere that drive completely different or other stuff, and they come to you the 5th time, if they fail 5 times already, wouldn't you tell them straight up that they have no business on the road?
Yeah, they're just not ready for the roads. They're not ready
for the road.
And the roads are not ready for them.
And the road not ready for them.
Yep.
You don't have no time to be able to sit nobody on the road.
Yep.
Because if I'm late for the movies, you better get out of the way.
Okay, Lord Graham. Got to go to a break. Keep in touch, folks. We're going to take a commercial break. We still have callers on hold. We will entertain your calls as soon as we return, so please stay tuned.
J&M Money touching down again. Now you can send your US dollars at any location on island, including the BRAC. It's easy. Just walk with your US dollars. No need to convert to CI. This is another convenient service available at J&M Money. They always find a way to make it easier and hassle-free. So remember, when you need to send your money and you only have US dollars, don't ever think of what to do. Just head straight to any J&M Money location and send your money the fast, convenient, and affordable. J&M Money. J&M Money. Touching down again. J&M Money. Ranga to la friend.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay.
No one can stop
Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Grand Cayman, the concert you've been waiting for is almost here.
Yeah, man, this is Graham Smargan.
The hottest pre-Valentine's ticket in town, Cayman Airways. The Ministry of Tourism, Palmyra Development, and Tortuga presents three-time Grammy Award winner, Gramps Morgan. Gramps Morgan.
What I'm feeling.
Gramps Morgan.
If you give a little more than you take.
Gramps Morgan from the legendary band Morgan Heritage in a special up-close acoustic event. Also featuring James Geary, Terry Williams, D. Doctor, and more. 8 p.m. February 11th at the Mango Tree. This is an outdoor event under the stars. Tickets are $45 pre-sold. VIP tables available. Get online at CaymanEvents.co or at Mango Tree. Part of the proceeds to Meals on Wheels. Gramps Morgan in concert. Brought to you by Cayman Airways, the Ministry of Tourism, Tortuga's Coca-Cola, Palmyra Development, the Mango Tree, Radio Cayman, CaymanEvents.co, and Loud Production. Gramps Morgan.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're going straight to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. For the Record.
Good morning, Doc. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
I want to thank you for discussing the question about driver education.
Thank you.
And because that is very, very important. You know, I think you and I are the only ones who are interested in talking about these things that we should be talking about and that are relevant and that are important to our society. Driver education should begin in school. Every high school should have driver education as part of their curriculum. It should be one of the things that are mandatory. In Canada, one of the reasons why I sent my son out to St. Andrews College in Toronto is because they have the education. They have all these kinds of education. They prepare people for the real world, and they have driver education. When I sent my son out there, who now Dr. Darren McPhail in 1988, he was under 13 years old, and in that school they also have the cadet corps. The cadet corps, so you have to be a cadet, and you have to do canoeing and play all the sports and everything. And when we started the cadet corps here back when Roy Borden started the cadet corps, and I was the chairman of the cadet corps committee, and the late Kirk Nixon was the deputy.
Right.
One of the things that we started with the cadet corps was driver education. And in fact, I'm not going to call the name of the person, but one of the prominent physicians in the Cayman Islands at the time offered us a car that he had, a spare car that he had. He was so enthusiastic about the cadet corps that he offered us a spare car as a car that to the cadet corps, so that we could teach driving to the young people who were joining the cadet corps.
Wow.
Yes, and of course, you know what happened to that. A lot of politics. It was a place where people could get jobs, and they were not interested in the children. And you and other people are constantly talking about the children are our future. I don't think so. Not in Cayman, because if children were our future, we would be protecting them.
Yes.
And we would equip them to face the future. We're not equipping them to face the future. We have a service industry and a tourist industry, and we do not have children who can walk out of high school and can walk into one of those industries to make a living. We're still bringing people from outside to work in those industries. It's because we haven't equipped them, and therefore I do not think that all of those are the cliches that we will hear during election time. our children are our greatest resources. I don't think so in Cayman. I don't think people are very selfish. They only care about their own life, their own lifetime, their own comfort. They don't care about their offsprings and what they are going to do. It's only very few families like your family, my family, care about them and prepare, like how you were prepared, like how I was prepared to face the future and to be able to face the challenges that the world throws up and able to hold our own in any jurisdiction that we go to. In Cayman, they don't care about the children. They just want a place to put them. The school is one of the places to hide them away or send them to northward. Or in the old days, they used to send them off to Jamaica to these schools, and that is what they do. You think that all the resources that they would be preparing their young people to take these jobs and these places, everything that you do in the service industry, they should be teaching that in the school from the high school level. I would say from 9, how to use computers, how to balance books, all those kind of things they should be doing, so that when they come out, they can walk into a job. Just like how when we got 17 and 18 and 16 years old, we could go to national bulk carriers and we could walk into a job, and we were taught on the job how to become engineers, how to become captains, how to become chief stewards, how to become great deckhands, and so forth. That kind of education will never happen in Cayman, because the whole idea here is for people to make more money, and more money greed. And so they found a way through the immigration system to bring people from different places that are poor, that are indigent in their country, and where the currency is really, really low. They can work them here for $4.50 an hour and $6 an hour. And people, as long as that exists, Mr. For the record, the children here will be a sidekick, like how Tonto was to the Ohio to Silver. And I'm afraid that any Caymanian who gets up, like yourself, Roy, Gilbert McLean, myself, all those people, when Gilbert talk about the cottage industry in Panton and things like that, and what Roy talk about, they put you down, and so I am really, it's really sad for me to see the children how they have no future. You would think that driver education is the least thing that they could spend some money on, a simulator, like you said, and then a few cars, take them out to, you were saying that the school and up there in Franksong would be the ideal place to start it.
And I have some information on that one of a former member of the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, and also worked at the Department of Vehicle and Driver's License, has shared with me as well, and I'm going to be sharing that with our audience. Doc, I want to thank you. Thank you very much.
The last thing I want to say, the last thing I want to say to you is that in those high schools, everyone should be compulsory to join the cadet corps. Should be compulsory to come to school.
Yes, national service. Yes,
that everyone should be in the national service to provide the skills and education and the discipline that they need to face the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc, for that. Let's grab another caller before we go to our headline news at 9 o'clock. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hi, good morning, O.C.
Good morning. How are you, my friend?
I'm very thankful. O.C., you're speaking on a topic this morning that is very, very serious. It's becoming a very serious issue in these islands, and that's driving. O.C., yesterday I left my house, and this is just one of the prime examples. I left my house and had reason to traverse on the bottom of New Road. There's a little plaza on Balmini Road where Tortuga Liquors is.
Right.
Just prior to arriving to that location, I pull off on the side of the road and I brace. I brace for impact. A vehicle being driven by a Jamaican. Yeah, I know in Jamaican, and I'm not making no bones about this morning. in Jamaican. If he wasn't doing 75 miles an hour on that road, he wasn't doing nothing.
Wow.
On that little piece of road right there. Or see, a couple of weeks ago, I was traveling on the Tibbetts Highway, heading towards Georgetown. The highway was blocked on both sides of the road. When I say blocked, it was bumper to bumper, moving very, very slow.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the left lane, headed towards A.L. Thompson. And when I looked, another one, Jamaican again, overtaken on my left side. Overtaken on my left side. Let me tell you something, Osi. These Jamaicans bring the driving that they do in Jamaica to Cayman.
Mm-hmm. But we have some Caymanians that are following their footsteps as well.
I was just going to get to that now, Osi. You got some more idiots here who following exactly what they're doing. Right? They're following exactly what they're doing, and this is what is causing so much unsafe, so much unhealthy driving in this island.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, it is becoming a real problem. And suffice to say that until the authorities decide that they're going to prosecute these drivers for those kind of behaviors, we ain't going to see no difference.
So true.
I mean, okay, it is easy game to sit on the West Bay Road and look for somebody leaving a bar to issue, to check a breathalyzer test.
Mm-hmm.
That's the easy game. But let's start looking at these guys who are doing this kind of nonsense, because it is really, really. Listen, they're going to kill people.
Yep. Yep.
And also talking about driver's education, my children was educated. All my children was educated in Triple C, and Triple C has had, for as long as I can remember, they have had a driver's education program within the school.
Great.
And I commend them for that, because so far none of my children has had any major issues out there while driving.
Great.
Yeah, so Triple C is one of the schools that participate in that.
Good
I want to thank you for your time this morning.
I want to thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that information with us and expressing your views as well. Folks, we still have callers on hold. Top of the hour, headline news. When we return, we will take those callers, so please stay tuned.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
20 honorees from Cayman, Brac, and Little Cayman were recognized on Saturday for exemplary contributions to the Cayman Islands through volunteerism and charitable services. The Sister Islands ceremony was the second and final segment of the annual National Heroes Day honors for 2023. A rescue operation is underway across much of southern Turkey and northern Syria following a huge earthquake that has killed more than 1,700 people. The 7.8 magnitude quake struck in the early hours this morning while people were asleep. This was followed by a new 7.5 magnitude tremor that hit around 1:30 local time, which officials said was, quote, not an aftershock. Turkish state media is reporting more than 1,000 people were killed in Turkey alone after the first quake, with more than 5,300 wounded. Syrian authorities are reporting 783 dead and more than 2,000 injured, according to the AFP news agency. Rescuers are racing to save people trapped beneath the rubble after hundreds of buildings collapsed in both countries. World leaders have pledged to send aid after Turkey issued an international appeal for help. Millions of people across Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Cyprus, and Israel felt the earthquake. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're going straight to the phone lines, and we know that some callers have been holding on for quite a while. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Thank you. We got a little weather change this morning. I think this is one of the coolest mornings I felt for the season.
Okay. Did you measure the temperature? I know.
No, not.
I know a few weeks ago we had, I think it was 67 degrees, 64.
Yeah, I think it probably was down in the 60s this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if you just give me a couple of minutes.
Sure.
I want to talk about this new law they implemented about the cats and the chickens and all of that. I'll start off by saying this about the cats.
Mm-hmm.
In my area, across from the horse pen, let's put it that way, there used to be quite an abundance of rats. Now we have maybe 2 or 3 cats around the place. There's not a sign of a rat. A guy that worked on a garbage truck, picking up garbage in the morning, he told me this about 2 months ago. He said one morning he was collecting the garbage to put in the truck. When he opened the top of the garbage container, a rat jumped up into his chest.
Wow.
Okay. Now we're gonna go heavy-handedly about not feeding cats and really talking about cats, what we should do. The cats has their own use in this country. They're not, you got a few wild cats, well, whatever's happening in Little Cayman about the feral cats, that might be a different story, but we don't have any abundance of cats right in this area or in the island as a whole, far as I can see.
But okay.
So I think we should be having a more relaxed stance about the cats and the chickens, because even the chickens, okay, they talking about you can't feed the chickens. The chickens eat a lot of the roaches and centipedes and all that, and they fertilize.
Are they really saying that you can't feed them? Is that what the legislation says?
From what I didn't read, but from what I understand, you got a heavy fine there, meaning to whether you understand it or not, you understand that your fine is going to be, if they take that, like $500,000. In my opinion, that is nothing but...
If in certain situations, if that's the case, it's not just, feeding in chicken in general, I don't believe.
Okay, why do the Department of Environment do not take time to look around and see all of this horse riding thing, the manure on top of the highway, that people can't take a decent walk because you got to watch out you don't step on it, and if you got traffic coming or going, you can't step on the road. You got to be careful. Why do they take some time and try to look into this thing and try to clean this place up in a proper manner that people can understand, and tell people you cannot put your garbage out in just a plastic bag. It has to be securely contained with a proper cover, with a proper container. This is then we will be going someplace. But just to come out and talk about cats and dogs and all kinds of things, I think that is really, some of those people need to get a life. That's how I see it. It really annoys me to see they going so heavy-handed about this situation instead of coming to the people or say, what do you think that we should do? You're going to bring in somebody from another country and say what it must be done. And lastly, I want to say about the dogs. They send in these dogs to America about the well taken care of. I will repeat again, other states, not only California, which has over 1 million stray pets, dogs and cats in California, in our Cayman dogs that we should be taking care of, we're shipping them off while these people are allowed to bring in all of these ferocious dogs in our island, and we accept that. Come on. Give us a break, right? This is not good for an island. And we need to get on the talk show and talk about it. Don't ask me, Armand, you need to say this. Come on.
But isn't there regulations and laws in place in terms of the types of dogs that can be imported into the Cayman Islands, or even, I believe, maybe in some instances, bred in the Cayman Islands as well?
Well, see, if it is, some of the dogs that are into this island, if that's what your regulations allow to come into this island, my friend, then we need to have a second thought and look and see what's happening here.
Yep, got you.
Yeah, so anyhow, I think I said a little bit, not too much, but that's all I can say for this morning. But I hope that something is done with these people that try to push all of this stuff down our throat, man. I mean, it's out of control.
Yep, thank you. Thank you very much, caller. Before we grab the next caller, DOE, Department of Environment, if you are listening, we have said before, I've said before, and I'm going to say it again, social media and other sources have taken the narrative on this whole issue. They have taken the narrative on it. You need to get control of the narrative. The way to do that, please, and forgive me for doing this, Miss Norma and the rest of the staff, but start doing some PSAs on Radio Cayman about this piece of legislation, reassuring people, because they're still getting their information from the wrong sources. And despite the fact that you have been on the talk shows talking about it, more needs to be done, because there's nothing more powerful than public perception, and especially when that perception is wrong. Let's grab a next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, Mr. Connor.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Long time I haven't called the program.
Yes. How are things going?
Good. Not bad. I didn't really call to touch on the cat issue, but I have some thoughts on that, and I'll tell you what I really called for was the driving. On the cat issue, Mr. Connor, you see, we passed these laws, right? And the problem is, it's again a band-aid approach. So we do have an issue on the islands, on all three islands with wildcats, right? But to go out and cull the cats is something totally different. Okay, what needs to be put in place for this issue for dogs and cats is they just need to do a mandatory spay and neuter, even if you want to own a cat. Right now, this law, I believe, was tried to pass, or I think it was passed a very long time ago for dogs and cats, and you have to have a license if you want to breed dogs and stuff like that. That was never enforced, right? Never enforced.
But caller, you realize that when we had representatives from the Department of Environment on here, they made it quite clear that at this point in time, the cat culling that has taken place, Cayman Brac, full scale because of the situation that they have there, and only around where the brown nose booby, the brown booby is located on the bluff in Cayman Brac. Only in those areas really that they're seeking to capture the cats, because there has been evidence that they are the ones that have been ravaging the nesting and stuff like that there. So full scale in Cayman Brac, in Little Cayman, partial in Cayman Brac, only restricted to a particular area.
Mr. Connor, they can go ahead and do it. They're doing it anyway. Right? But what I'm saying is, to be clear, they also need to back that up by enforcing spay and neuter. Otherwise, we'll go down the same road again. So we can do what we're doing now. That's not going to stop the cats from breeding,
Yep.
If you don't have them spayed and neutered, whether it be own cats that having them out, or and then it turned into wild cats, because obviously that's how it came about. Nobody brought wild cats here and let them go, right? It's own cats that breed, and then they have them, they keep populating, and then you end up with wild cats.
Yep.
Right? So we simply need to put in place that people spay and neuter their pets. Right? And put a law in place to have it, right?
Good point.
So that's a holistic view so we never have to go down this road again.
Got you.
That's what I'm saying. All right?
Okay.
So about the driving I called about, really. And what I wanted to ask you is, a driving instructor go out and to test someone that works for government to go out and give someone a drive test. That driving test probably takes all about maybe 20 minutes. Right? By driving, you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree.
Pretty much, hour, 20 minutes. All right. So now, we let these people on the road, right? Who's giving the license to the people that are actually teaching these people how to drive? And who's monitoring that?
I believe I've been told that the DVDL that you have, in order to be a certified driving instructor, you have to be certified by them as well.
Mr. Connor, I've had an experience just the other day with a learner driver, with an instructor in the car, blow through the roundabout and almost hit my car. Right?
And that's with the student in the vehicle?
And that's with the student driving in the vehicle and the instructor in there. And then on the second part, they also switch lanes, okay, without indicating, and they switch lanes in front of the car without even looking. So that's what I'm asking the question is. Because if this is the case, okay, and they're not teaching the drivers properly, then we have a serious issue, right? Because it's more the driving staff at DVDL can only pass you within that 20 minutes if you drive properly then.
I've had a driver who was almost completed the driving test right there on the roundabout by Hurley's Grand Harbor, heading back to the depot, the office, and changing lanes without checking, and ran into me and failed their driving test at that point in time, right at the end of it. And you had to see the licensor, the person who was given the test, struggling with that driver to try to get control of the steering wheel, and that driver fighting the instructor, over that wheel, and it still ended up hitting me. But caller, I'm going to ask you to, if you can wrap up very quickly for me, please.
No problem. But I just think a greater look need to be looked into these people that are actually teaching, right? And get it straightened out, because otherwise, we'll end up in the same boat.
But you do realize also that the majority of the people who are learning to drive are learning to drive not by driving instructors, but they're learning to drive by friends and family members who all teach them their bad driving habits as well. That is why a structured driver's education is needed, and that is why it should start in the schools as well. Folks, we're going to take a break. We have callers on hold, but we're going to have to suspend those callers because we have the premier in the studio with me. I will introduce him when we return, and I'm sure if time allows, we will take calls. But meanwhile, we're going to have to suspend the callers that we have on hold, and we apologize for that. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
I'm coming in hot.
coming in hot for the Red Dot sale only at Reflections. Red Friday is one day only. This Friday, February 10th, nearly everything must go. Clearance sale on men's and women's shoes, Nike, Reebok, Adidas, Puma, Dockers, and more. Limited styles available. Get yours before they're gone. Spot the Red Dot on any tagged item and receive up to 50% off. Ladies, save up to 50% off on clothing just in time to find your perfect Valentine's outfit or Valentine's gift with lingerie and personal massages at 10% off. Save on dresses, blouses, pants, and find even greater savings in our clearance baskets. Men, spot the Red Dot on any tagged item and receive up to 50% off on brands like US Polo, Dockers, and 20% off on all gym apparel. Levi jeans starting at $34. There is something for everyone at Red Friday at Reflections, one day only this Friday, February 10th. Reflections Clothing Store located on Cheddar Road beside the mango tree across from Kirk Napa. Open Monday to Thursday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Friday and Saturday, 9 to 9 p.m.
Head east on Cove Road. Sharp left on Church Street. Sharper left. No, your other left. Did I say left? Nope, you missed it. Okay, I'm lost.
With money-saving bundling options for home and motor, we're like a GPS that doesn't steer you wrong. CG BritK. Good like that.
Let's stop and ask for directions.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. As I said before we went to the commercial break, we do have the Premier, the Honorable Wayne Panton, in the studio with me now. My pleasure to have him. Premier, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, sir. And I want to tell you what a pleasure it is to be here with you again this morning. It's my first time, unfortunately. I have to admit that. First time for 2023.
Yes.
So, let me say, I want to extend, it's a little bit late, but I want to extend all of God's blessings and the best for everybody and our entire country for 2023.
Yes.
We have so much to be thankful for. Yes, we have our problems, but we have a lot to be thankful for as well. And you don't have to look far for some of the things. I mean, we've just had this major earthquake in Turkey. Two major earthquakes. Two major earthquakes in Turkey, and I'm sure it's going to end up being thousands of people. The last time that happened, I think it might have been about 10, 20 years ago or something. They lost like tens of thousands of people. So.
And this is an area where refugees are concentrated
absolutely,
as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have so much to be thankful for in this beautiful little paradise that we have. But, yes, we have our problems, but we shouldn't let those problems, completely warp our perspective about how thankful we should be.
You're so right.
So such an honor and a privilege to be back here with you. I know I was teasing you earlier. We don't have an FDR, but we have a FTR. We have a Mr. For the Record, and our wonderful Mr. Marfield reminds us of that every day. So you go by your initials. We'll see. We can start calling you FTR. Cayman's FTR. So it's a privilege to be here, and I'm going to try to do it, to do it more frequently and make it as often as possible. Interesting conversations you had this morning. A lot of conversations around the driving and stuff, and I understand the concerns of people. That's one of the reasons why we are actually going to be bringing some amendments to the traffic law.
Excellent.
Fairly shortly. I think we're going to have a presentation today in respect of some of those, and we started making some changes last year, including reducing the blood alcohol level from 0.1 to 0.07. Because we'll see, last year we had a record. I don't know if it's a record overall, but we've been averaging for quite a number of years road deaths around 7, 8, 9. I mean, any road death to me is a tragedy. But last year we had 15, I think it was, and that was a real tragedy for us, and we have to, anything we can do to reduce those numbers, because every life reflects a loss for, some parents, possibly some children, some spouse, some brother, sister, a missing piece of the lives of people. Not to mention impacts on, the contribution they made to their employer or to the country overall. So we have to do what we can do, and I would implore people to drive very carefully, to be courteous. Don't be in such a rush. I know sometimes you feel like you've got to get here or there, but if you actually measure the time you save through reckless driving, honestly, if you save a minute, it's going to be plenty. And a minute is not worth your life or somebody else's life. So let's be kind, let's be courteous, let's help each other. All get there and arrive alive, as they say, So, and of course we have these discussions about the feeding of chickens and feral chickens and feral cats. That has erupted a bit. It's quite unfortunate because the regulations are designed to protect the local fauna, local bird life, and even things like the blue iguanas, for example. So these are all positive things. They're all things that we're trying to achieve. We're not the only ones that have these challenges. Many other island countries or island states have these sort of challenges with feral animals that are not indigenous, that are impacting the indigenous life. And these regulations were never done. Nobody sat down and said, let's do regulations to stop people feeding chickens, or let's do regulations just to stop people feeding cats. It's called the alien species or invasive species regulations for a reason. And the provisions that people seem to be excited about is a general provision relating to general penalties under the National Conservation Act,
right,
which has been in place since 2013, right? And that is the general provision that allows a court to, for example, if you have a ship that crashes into Eden Rock or crashes into some reef somewhere else and damages our really valuable coral reefs, it allows a judge to impose a fine of, say, $300,000 for the value of the coral that was destroyed, and at the same time might allow that same judge to sentence somebody for poaching lobsters or conchs,
right,
of a fine of, say, $500 or $1,000. So yes, the general provision, which is Section 38 of the National Conservation Act, talks about a maximum, up to a maximum. Well, it doesn't say up to; it just says $500,000 or 4 years, or 4 years, or both. But the drafting style is just to say the amount. But what's implied is, and which the judges understand, is it means up to.
Okay.
And that, as I said, that provision has been in there for forever, for 10 years, since the law was passed and began implementation. Now, when we did those regulations last October in relation to the alien species, I recognized at the time that there would be the possibility that somebody could sort of mischievously say, what? $500,000 and 4 years in jail for feeding, invasive species or alien species, which could include chickens or could include cats. I recognize that potential, right? So what we did was we put a provision in the additional provision in the regulations, which said the first occasion that somebody speaks to you about this, you get basically like a cease and desist letter. saying, look, don't do it. This is why you shouldn't be doing this. This is what we're trying to achieve, and we're trying to prevent the explosion of the population, or further growth of the population of these animals, including feral cats, including feral chickens, but not exclusive to those at all. And that's feral chickens, for example, is not really what it's designed to go after. It just happens to fall into that definition as well. So I know that. So just to finish that, then. So the first offense is just a warning letter saying, don't do it, and here's why we don't want you to do this. So it's a nice explanation. If you persist in doing it, you might end up falling to a second bucket then, where you could get up to a fine of $5,000. Then the third time you do it, then you fall into the normal Section 38 catch-all type of thing, which is the up to $500,000 and up to 4 years in jail. Now, obviously, nobody's going to get sentenced to any custodial sentence for feeding chickens or feeding the cats. Not unless you're doing it on some kind of industrial scale and you're trying to create major havoc in the country. I can't see that even in that case, but so this thing has been blown completely out of proportion. People are taking it all literally as if somebody sat down and said, yes, we want to impose a $500,000 fine on people feeding chickens, and that is absolutely not the case. It just so happens that it falls into this definition of invasive species or alien species. I kind of use those interchangeably. And so, of course, that particular media house that posted their headline article behind this paywall, you can see the headline, but you can't see, unless you have a subscription, you can't see the rest of the details of the story. The headline just said $400,000 or $500,000 in 4 years in jail for feeding chickens or cats, which was a really good example of an attempt at sensationalizing an issue. Sensational journalism, you could call it. Now, yes, they did go into details in the article about, those provisions that I just mentioned to you, plus the fact, the real rationale behind doing this, and that there was no specific provision attached to those regulations which said, yes, it's $500,000 or up to $500,000 and up to 4 years for feeding invasive animals or invasive species. But when you do that, when you have that situation, people tend to read the headline and run with it.
That's it. Yes, yes.
And they either don't read the story or they don't have the opportunity to read the story. And like so many things in life, you've got to, before you go out there and blasting away on social media and everything else, you need to inform yourself so that you know what the full position is and what you're speaking to. You had calls this morning where people admitted that they hadn't actually read the story, and read the details or read the regulations.
But they were relying on what they heard.
Yeah, and that's look, I understand it. And as I said to you earlier, that's why I pointed that out to them when they came with the draft regulations. I said, you've got to put in some sort of intermediary provision here, because somebody's going to say, hey, you're threatening $500,000 and 4 years in jail for feeding some of these things, which includes feral cats, which include feral chickens. So I anticipated the potential mischief at the time, but I didn't anticipate a headline behind a paywall or a headline on top of a paywall, which kept people away from the rest of the details of the article. So it has been unfortunate that there's been so much going on about that. And honestly, people are right. It's kind of interesting that people have noted, with all the other issues that we should be concerned about. They seem to think that this is what government is concerned about. Actually, it's not the thing that government is concerned about most. There are many, many other things that we're concerned about addressing for the benefit of the people of this country, improve the quality of life of people of this country. But they have to recognize that they're the ones that are making that a focus, making that an issue without appreciating that they're doing the very thing that they complain the government is doing, right? So no, that's not what it is, and I appreciate the views of people, but let's make sure that we understand where we're coming from, what the reality is, and make sure we read these things in some detail before just blasting away on social media.
So true. Premier, we're going to take a commercial break,
yes,
folks.
Sir.
Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
JN money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN money, we a pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we a pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
West Bay, home to Barkas National Park, the touristy flair, a family community, a political powerhouse. From sports enthusiasts to car aficionados, affection for silver thatch rope. No matter how far you may venture, West Bay will always be where the heart is. Home will always be in West Bay. West Bay Pharmacy, caring for your home and your family. West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient, quality care is just around the corner.
Tune in Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. for the Daily Sports Report, covering local, regional, and international sports. Proudly brought to you by Dr. Wayne Porter, offering a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. Start your day in the know. Don't miss a beat. Radio Cayman's 7 a.m. news keeps you informed every Monday through Saturday at 7 a.m. Proudly brought to you by Walkers, a reputation for excellence. Learn more about the Walkers Scholarship and Legal Training Program at walkersglobal.com.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have about half an hour left in the show. In the studio with me, Honorable Wayne Panton, Premier of the Cayman Islands. Premier, back over to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Before I move on to a couple of things, I just want to acknowledge and congratulate my friend Sir Alden McLaughlin in formally being knighted. We know that he was awarded the KCMG, the Knight Commander of the Order of St. Michael and St. George, last year, and we were advised of that. But I think he just this past week or weekend was formally knighted and went through the ceremony in the UK.
Mm-hmm. I think it was last Tuesday.
Last week, yeah. So yeah, at the time, I issued a press statement congratulating him and articulating all the reasons why I thought it was appropriate. And I was very, very happy to see that he had his whole family with him, Lady Kim and his two sons, Dagan and Kaelan. So that was really, really, heartwarming and touching to see all the pictures of that. So we celebrate that with him. The couple of things. One is the National Roads Authority, apart from doing a good job in putting out a lot of PR on social media about how to drive and how to navigate and utilize the roundabouts really well, I want to highlight that this week they'll be doing the public consultation process around the terms of reference for the environmental impact assessment in relation to the east-west extension. I know there are some people obviously who are not in favor of doing that. There are obviously many others who are in favor of doing it. I'm certainly supportive of getting the road done properly, and that by properly I mean we do the proper environmental impact assessment, so we know what the impacts are going to be, and we know what the benefits are going to be, and we mitigate the impacts as much as possible through the design and construction of the road and whatever process is recommended in relation to that. It is a difficult situation to have one road that goes along the south coast that connects the whole eastern end of our island, so north side and east end in particular, but certainly the eastern side of Panton as well, and central Panton is affected from a traffic perspective. When you get into central Panton, you have Anton Drive, and then you have the front, the main road along the waterfront that provides an alternate route. But we need to seriously consider this and provide an option so that people can traffic can improve for them, and there is an alternate route. I know I've been subjected to it in the past where I've been coming from, around midnight, coming from the eastern end of the island and come up upon an accident in the Peace Bay area, just between Panton and Breakers, and the road was blocked because of the accident. So I had to turn around and go back to a place in Frank Sound and basically spend the night there. And then leave early in the morning to be able to get down. So I know what it's like. I know the challenges, and obviously I've lived on the eastern side there in Newlands all my life, so I know what the traffic situation is. And the real key thing for us is to make sure we follow the process properly. And from back in 2014, the former premier at that time made a public announcement at a press conference that the proper environmental impact assessment process would be followed. Of course, at that time, it was a development or a developer that was involved in a development that was to be called Ironwood, I think it was.
Yes, Ironwood.
The development golf course they were talking about. They were supposed to be building the road at that time. But the announcement that was made, which I absolutely supported, was that a full proper environmental impact assessment would be carried out. And that was back in 2014. Unfortunately, since then, and in the years since then, including the 4 years of the last administration, the former leader appeared to be not as committed to that, and in fact was trying to find ways of avoiding doing an environmental impact assessment. I thought that was not the right approach to try to take, and in that intervening period, he could have the NRA could have done probably 3 or 4 environmental impact assessments. So now we have to go through the process and get this thing done properly, so that we don't create problems for the future. Right?
So Premier, for the avoidance of doubt, the intent of the environmental impact assessment is not to stop the project, but to ensure that it goes in a sustainable way.
Right. So an environmental impact assessment isn't going to tell you, it isn't a decision maker, right? It isn't a process that you go through, and at the end of it gives you a yes, or at the end of it gives you a no.
Right.
What it does do is it tells you what the realities are of the potential impacts, and you make a separate decision as to whether it is the right balance and whether you should go ahead or not. And if the answer is to go ahead, then what it tells you is how to do it, how best to do it, and to minimize the impacts that are going to be caused, whether it's environmentally or otherwise. So this is what the point of an environmental impact assessment, because you don't want to do something and then find out after you built it that you've created a major problem.
Right? And then you have to take corrective action at that point in time, which may sometimes be possible and it may not.
It may not be possible, or you may be stuck with long-term negative consequences that you really wouldn't have wanted to begin with. So you spend a little bit of time. You spend usually an environmental impact assessment costs somewhere in the region of about 1% of the cost of any project that you apply an EIA to. And I think if you look at, if you were buying insurance on something, right, you're going to pay probably more than 1%, right? So this is something which is a cost-effective way of telling you how to do things properly while minimizing potential negative impacts. So you don't have to, you don't freak out down the road and you find out that you've created a major problem that is going to cost twice as much or 3 times as much to resolve.
So Premier, what do we say then to those people who say that we should be concentrating more on rising sea levels and everything else, and that what we contribute here in the Cayman Islands to the negative impacts globally is extremely small and really doesn't measure that much, but we still have a certain amount of responsibility to the environment that we live in.
Absolutely. So, I mean, the answer is all of those things have to be considered together, right? You can't really take things in isolation. Are we responsible for global warming? Not in a great scheme of things. We're a small fraction, but if you look at what we contribute on a per capita basis, a per person basis, we're actually quite high.
Okay.
Right? We're probably higher than many of the developing states. I don't know. I can't remember offhand whether we're higher than the U.S. I mean, the U.S. has 5% of the world, less than 5% of the world's population, and they probably contribute 25% of the problem. But we are as high or higher than China, for example, and China is a huge industrialized nation. So it tells us that we have to get our house in order as well. We have to make sure that we're not contributing to the very problem that we're going to be impacted by and suffer the impacts of. All these things need to be considered together. So, if sea level rise is identified as an issue in the AIA, then we have to take those types of things into account and follow the recommendations that may be made in respect to that. But what this public consultation is about is not about the question of whether we have whether we have the East-West extension or not. The public consultation is on the terms of reference for the environmental impact assessment, so that people can look at it and look at the terms of reference, and they satisfy themselves that the terms of reference will actually address the issues that they feel should be addressed by the environmental impact assessment. Meaning, the outcome of an environmental impact assessment is something called an environmental impact statement. And what people should be concerned about is when they see the environmental impact statement at the end of the day, that it addresses things that they're concerned about, right? So that means that the terms of reference were right, and were broad enough to cover the things that they thought were appropriate.
Okay.
And that's what I want to encourage people to be involved and engage with. I mean, yes, I know people are going to come along and say, well, I'm in favor of the East-West extension, and there are going to be people who come along and say, I'm not in favor of it. And that's all fine as well, as long as people direct their minds to the point, which is the terms of reference, so that at the end of the day, we end up with an environmental statement which answers a lot of the questions that they may have to begin with.
Okay, we're going to take our last commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned. The conversation with the Honorable Wayne Panton, Premier of the Cayman Islands, will continue after this short commercial break.
So much happening so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my health care instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777. Cayman Arts Festival 2023. From New York to London, landing in Cayman. 8 landmark events. Global music on the island's stage. On Tuesday, February 7th, 7 p.m. at the National Gallery. World-renowned cabaret vocalist Natalie Douglas.
My baby don't care for clothes. My baby don't care for shows.
Tickets are available at www.caymanartsfestival.com. For more information, call 922-5550 or email inquiries@caymanartsfestival.com. Natalie Douglas, live from the National Gallery, Tuesday, February 7th.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system for information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have 2 callers on hold. They've been holding for a while. The Premier is going to entertain those 2 callers because he's been on here for a very short period, but at the same time, he wants to entertain a few calls as well. So we're going to ask the callers to please be as brief as possible. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
All right. Hello. This is Sherry Ann. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine. Go right ahead. The Premier is listening.
I'm on. Hi. Good morning, Honorable Premier. Nice to hear you this morning.
Good morning, dear.
Good morning, darling. It's my government, they say, so I'm going to call and give you my 2 cents about the chickens. I'm just going to say my statement and get off. I think that you should do a farm and have all the chickens not culled. Just bring them in like how they do the iguanas and do a chicken farm. That would be more jobs, and it'll be healthier for the people. And we got our own organic eggs, because we have a lot of chickens and we have a lot of processing. Another thing I want to touch on quickly is the cars. I went through this morning to town and I never reached town. I left town at Prospect at 7:05 and reached A.L. Thompson at 7:45. I think it's too much cars on the road, and the drivers that are on the road that is not experienced with our roads are not from here or jurisdiction. I think that you all need to have buses running more often and have less cars imported by people that's on work permit. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those comments.
Okay, we'll grab the other caller and then give you an opportunity to comment.
Yeah.
Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, O.C.
Good morning. How are you?
Not too bad. Good morning to the Premier.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, Mr. Premier, I would really be thankful if you could sort of share some brief light on what's the status of the police station that's next door to the bakery in Cayman Brac. And if you could do so, please explain what's going to happen eventually with it briefly. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you, sir. Well, do we have any more right now? No?
That's it.
Okay,
that's it.
So we'll start with the last one then. I don't know. I don't have any information in relation to the old police station, the old police building there for the BRAC. I know there was a discussion. I think there was a request for the sale or leasing of that building, or sort of renovation of that building. I'm not sure where things are at in relation to that. That was some time ago. This is the first time that the issue has been raised with me again. Mm-hmm. So I will. I know the caller obviously, so I will check into that and come back to him and advise what the status is of that.
Okay.
In relation to the first caller, interesting concept about having a chicken farm. I think we do have our own, poultry farms.
Yes.
On island. I think there have been some issues there. I know one of the individuals that was operating a poultry farm or an egg farm had spoken to me about it in the last 6 months or so. I think they may have ceased operations. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I know the minister has been working with and talking to them as to how we can best support them to improve the supply of fresh eggs in the context of ensuring that we have food security and we don't have to rely exclusively exclusively on eggs from overseas. I mean, obviously part of the issue for us is that we're never going to have the economies of scale that will drive down the prices to the level that you can get even by having to buy things like that overseas and shipping them in. Even with the shipping cost, often it is difficult for local farms to compete because we just don't have the economies of scale. But if we can support them enough that they can continue to be viable, they provide fresh eggs, obviously, and going to be a lot fresher than anything that you import.
Certainly, yeah.
So if we can support them enough that they remain viable enough, they may never become a raging sort of agricultural success, but if they can continue to operate, then it provides us with food security because we have access. Then, if we do not have a source from overseas, if there's a problem, if the price goes up overseas and becomes so that our eggs here become more competitive, or if the supply ceases for some reason, which we just don't know. I mean, in this day and age, we have all these geopolitical issues that are impacting us that we probably didn't anticipate. I mean, I'm sure that when we heard about the reports about Russia amassing tanks and weaponry on the border of Ukraine
a year ago,
I don't think people really thought through. I think some of those reports were more than were back in December a year ago, and it's difficult to anticipate what's going to happen, and nobody really probably thought through very clearly of what kind of impact it would have, including impacts on food supplies with basic things like wheat and whatnot that are ingredients. So, yeah, these things can impact us, and it's always better for us to be prepared and to have our own options available to us. So we want to continue to support them as much as possible. I think she also mentioned the traffic and the number of cars on the road. Yes, we're waiting to get a consultant's report on traffic. Sorry, not traffic, on public transport to advise on how we transition into a better public transport system, one which is more reliable, higher capacity, and can serve the needs of the country. And at the same time, as we're transitioning into that, then we can start implementing other measures to limit the amount of cars that come in. And I don't mean necessarily going straight to a Bermuda type situation where you have a minimum or maximum of one car per household and all of that. But the minute we start we start imposing some kinds of restrictions, we need an alternative in place to be able to serve the needs of the country, because people need to get around. People need to do their own, their daily stuff, their shopping, whatever purchases they need to make. They need to get to work on time. They need to get home on time.
So you have to have a
reliable system. And luckily for us, we have great relationships with a number of other states and territories in the Caribbean that have had public transport systems in place for some time, and have been moving to electrify those as well, so that the buses are even higher quality, quieter. You have full great air conditioning. You have full things like Wi-Fi, so that people can actually work or surf or read or whatever they want to do while they're on the journey, and be more productive. And these are the types of things that we're aiming for, right? So we're expecting this public transport report shortly, and we're then going to build from there.
Okay. Will that report also include then how we go about approaching the issue of vehicles on the road in terms of the ability to reduce the number of vehicles while at the same time enhancing public transport?
Yes, it will have some suggestions in terms of transitioning, but some of it we're going to have to work out for ourselves as well. This issue has been thought about before, has been discussed before, and there's no magic to it. We do have a fairly clear idea of the types of things that we need to start doing.
And there was a committee that had been established with the previous government in relation to that. Has that report, is that available, and will the contents of that be taken into consideration as well?
Yes. I mean, it. To be honest, I had not actually seen the full report of that until the opposition brought a motion proposing that government sort of adopt it and follow it. I found it very interesting at the time that they didn't take their own advice, because this isn't a new problem. Traffic has been, the bane of our existence, particularly on the eastern side of the island, for some time, and now it's becoming an issue all over again. Georgetown is becoming, highly subjected to heavy traffic on a regular basis. West Bay used to be very easy, and now it's becoming difficult again. So we are not going to build our way out of, in terms of roads, out of this problem. We have got to find smarter, better, and high capacity ways of moving people around, getting them to where they need to go, without putting more cars on the road. I in the mornings when I'm being driven in, and in the evenings, but in the mornings in particular, I tend to look at the other cars to see how many people are in the cars, and the vast majority of them is just one person. And if we can find a way to put 2 people, 3 people, or 4 people in those cars, that is going to impact things. Because if we had 4 people in one car, that would mean we'd have 3 less cars on the road, right? And if you look at there's some very graphic indications of what the benefits would be for public transport. Like they'll give you a 4-lane road, and it'll show an image of the 4-lane road full of traffic, right? And then it'll say, and now this is what you have if you have all of the people in all of these cars that are shown in this picture on 2 public transport buses. It's just the 2 buses, and the rest of the lanes are empty, right? So it gives you a graphic representation of what's possible in terms of improving our ability to utilize our roads more efficiently, and to get people back and forth to where they need to go. And this goes back to the point we were talking about earlier. Our per capita greenhouse gas emissions are substantial, and transportation, and then converting our power generation, our energy generation, from diesel to renewable energy is what's going to make a big difference for us. Can you imagine not having to hear the noise of diesel generators running up on North Sound Road? At least not to the same extent. It would be an immense thing where you have stable prices, you have reliable sources of energy. Obviously, we need batteries and this types of thing because we do recognize, of course, that renewable energy, as we have it here, is not firm power. It's not generated 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But we're blessed with a lot of sunlight. We can store energy and charge batteries, and then those batteries can be used to provide the supplies that we need and smooth out the delivery of energy. So that's the direction we have to go.
Yep.
And we've got to do it with transport. We've got to do it with our energy production. And I know CUC is supportive of that approach generally. And we sort of, in the past, last year I indicated that the government was supportive of doing a deal with CUC where we could go ahead and get our transition to renewable energy as quickly as possible. We are still of that view, and we want to be moving forward with that. Some of the issues we've had relate to, concerns around some of the transition by our own regulator, and we've got to address those issues and make sure that everybody's on board to get this achieved for our country. Because imagine how, we talk about food security. Energy security is another equally important thing, and if we can insulate ourselves from the global spikes in energy costs, meaning fuel costs to create electricity, and we're no longer relying on that to a huge extent, then what happens geopolitically around the world is going to be less and less of a consequence for us. So we are going to have more stable energy production, and we're going to have the cost of it, and we'll eliminate the volatility, have the cost more stable. So that's all going to be really good for us. And this government has just over 2 years left in its term, and we intend to make the best of it and really transition now into delivering a lot of these issues. We've gone from having to deal with the reopening of the country and reestablishing of the transport in and out of the country, have the tourism industry going again. That is obviously doing extremely well.
Yeah, we haven't been hearing any complaints recently.
No,
especially from the hoteliers.
Exactly. We're on track to significantly exceed on an annual basis what our high point was in 2019. So that's all very positive. Our financial services industry is doing extremely well. That has been the thing that has really taken us through, a lot of the difficult times. Obviously, government has been in a position where reserves were available, and this is one of the differences that we've had as opposed to some of our other our fellow territories and states in the Caribbean. They have difficulties. They have huge deficits, little to no reserves. It's a struggle for them, and we have been really, really lucky and through hard work to have these reserves and to be able to utilize them to help smooth things out, to help provide 60 million plus a year of stipends and these types of things. And we continued that to the extent necessary. Now we're transitioning away from that into getting busy with all the other things that positively impact the quality of life for our people. Yes, as I said, people come to me all the time. How everything good? It's like no. Everything is not good, but many things are good, and we just have to remain focused on the other things that we need to address, because we'll probably never get to the point where everything is good, but the closer we can get to it, the better we are as a country. And I think we do have to continue to be grateful and thankful to God for what we do have, and it's been really good. I mean, we came through another hurricane season without. We had Hurricane Ian. Too many eyes now. We got to watch the eyes, but just as an interesting point, if I asked people which hurricane was the most expensive, in the last 20 years or so, I bet you most people wouldn't think of Ian.
Right, they would say Ivan.
They'd probably say Ivan or something or another one. But Ian has so far been one of the most expensive hurricanes something like $100 billion in damage, and a lot of lives were lost.
Yes.
As a result of that, and that, what unfortunately that has translated to for us is it's driven up our insurance costs. Because they look at the whole region that's subjected to hurricanes. So.
Well,
anyway, OC, I want to.
Yeah.
I know you're gonna tell me time to wrap up, and I just want to say I'm very grateful for the opportunity just to stop by and visit with you. I wanted to make sure I did that before we continue with the week. Always a pleasure, and I'm going to try to schedule it more often so that I come to see you.
Yep. It is so easy to lose control of the narrative, and I think by being not only on For the Record, but just being out front, ahead of things, makes life so much easier.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
We look forward to more dialogue.
Yeah. Well, Mr. FTR, you can look forward to seeing me more often, and as I said, it's always a pleasure.
Certainly.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks very much. I want to thank all of our listeners as well. Remember to join Sterling Dwayne Ebanks at 12:15 for Talk today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery. Inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy. Taking care of your health. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Today's biggest news.